Don't scroll. God has something to say to your heart right now. If your spirit feels a pull to stay, it's because this moment was written into your story long before today arrived. You're not here by accident, and you're not listening out of curiosity. Heaven knew exactly when you would reach this point, how tired your soul would feel, and how badly you would need a whisper from above. So pause, breathe. Let your heart stay open for what comes next, because your Father is leaning close and speaking to you right now. My child, I have watched every step you've taken in the dark, and I know the weight you've carried without letting anyone see how heavy it truly was. You've done your best to keep going, even on days you felt empty, days when your prayers were quiet sighs, and your strength was barely enough to stand. You've survived storms that would have broken others, and yet you kept walking forward, one breath at a time. You may think your endurance went unnoticed, but I saw every moment. I was right there with you in the places no one else could reach. I know there were nights when your thoughts refused to rest, and silence felt louder than any noise. You wondered if your prayers mattered, if I heard you at all, if maybe heaven had gone quiet. But silence was never absence. Even when you felt like you were speaking into an empty sky, your words reached me. Your tears reached me. Your disappointment reached me. I caught every tear long before it ever touched the ground. You have been hurting longer than you were meant to. That pain you tucked deep inside. That weight you refused to complain about. That private ache you never found the words for. I felt it with you. And I am saying now, enough. Enough carrying burdens that were never meant to be carried alone. Enough pretending to be strong when your heart is tired. Enough believing you have to figure everything out without my help. I am stepping in not tomorrow, not someday, but now. I know there were times you questioned whether I saw you, or if your life had slipped to the bottom of my priority list. You wondered why doors stayed closed, why opportunities seemed to pass you by, why the path forward felt blocked, while others around you moved freely. But child, you were never behind. You were being protected. The doors that did not open would have led you into wounds you weren't built to carry. The opportunities that didn't arrive would have drained your spirit before it was ready to grow. The delays were not punishment. They were protection. They were preparation. I have been shaping you not to survive forever, but to step into something stronger than survival. You have learned endurance, but now I'm teaching you trust. You have learned how to carry weight, but now I am teaching you how to lay it down. You have learned how to pray through tears, but now you will learn how to praise through breakthrough. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not disqualified. You are not too late. The timeline I wrote for you was never based on what others achieved or when they arrived. It has always been aligned with what I placed inside you. and nothing in your journey has been wasted. Not the delays, not the tears, not the confusion, not the heartbreak. Every moment has shaped you into someone who can carry blessing without breaking beneath it. I know you've grown accustomed to disappointment, learned to lower expectations, learned to say it's fine even when your heart whispered otherwise. You built walls around your hope because hope seemed to hurt more than it healed. But I'm calling you gently to raise your head again, to believe again, to hope again, not because your circumstances make sense yet, but because I am with you. You do not have to walk into your next chapter alone. I am carrying what you cannot carry. I am lifting what weighs you down. I am rebuilding what life tried to tear apart. You may not see the change yet with your eyes, but heaven has already begun moving in the places that have felt silent for so long. What was blocked is loosening. What was stalled is shifting. What felt impossible is bending under my authority. You do not need to force anything. Just stay open, stay willing, stay close to me. Allow me to work where you cannot see. You have spent seasons believing you needed to hold everything together, but I never asked that of you. You are not responsible for your own rescue. You don't have to pretend to be okay to deserve my help. I am drawn to honesty, not perfection. Bring me what is real. The questions, the anger, the exhaustion, the hope that is flickering instead of burning. I can work with a flicker. I can breathe life into embers. There is a shift happening in your story, and it is not loud or dramatic. It is steady, deep, and certain. Like dawn, it arrives quietly before you notice the darkness is gone. This is not the end of your fight, but it is the end of fighting alone. I walk with you now into a different season, a season where you do not just endure, but grow, where you do not just survive, but rise, where peace becomes normal and joy returns like breath. So breathe, my child. Let me fill the space fear once occupied. Let me rewrite the places disappointment rewired in your heart. You are safe. You are held, you are seen, and you are stepping into a chapter written not by struggle but by promise. If you feel something stirring inside you right now, don't ignore it. That pull is my spirit awakening. What pain tried to bury. Stay with me. Stay present. The story isn't over. It's shifting. It's beginning again. And heaven is already ahead of you, clearing the path you cannot yet see. Stay close. Stay hopeful. Stay open. If your heart agrees with this, whisper Amen. Share this message and stay blessed. Wait. Don't swipe away. God is still speaking over your life right now. There is something your heart needs to hear. Something heaven has been preparing you to receive. You didn't arrive here by mistake or by scrolling rhythm. This moment has weight because your story is shifting, and your spirit knows it, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. So pause again, not with fear, but with expectation. Let your soul breathe as I speak directly to the deepest parts of you. My child, I know how long you've been waiting for change to show up in your life. You have prayed with faith. You have believed with trembling hands. You have whispered prayers, even when disappointment tried to silence you. You have stood your ground when you could have walked away. You have clung to hope when your heart was tired of hoping. You have been through storms that emptied you, yet somehow you kept pouring love, kindness, and strength into a world that didn't always return it. The heavens did not overlook any of it. I saw the dreams you buried because life convinced you they were too impossible, too heavy, too far away. I saw when you stopped asking for certain blessings, not because you didn't want them, but because you didn't want to be hurt again by longing. But those dreams did not die. I protected them. I held them close while you rebuilt yourself. The delay was not denial, it was shelter. When you asked why everyone else's story seemed to move faster than yours, I whispered, "If only you could see what I am preparing for you." You weren't meant to break under those battles. You were being shaped by them. Pain carved out room inside you for wisdom, compassion, depth, and resilience that comfort can never teach. You learned to notice others who are hurting because you have felt that hurt. You learned to stand for those who have no strength because you know what it feels like to be weak. You learned the value of peace because you lived too long without it. I am not done with your story. I am building something inside you that has eternal worth. But hear me clearly. Your season of constant struggle is not your forever. You are stepping into something new. The version of you that learned to survive doesn't know yet how to thrive. But I will teach you. You will learn to rest without guilt. You will learn to receive without fear of losing it. You will learn that joy is not fragile. You will learn that blessing is not temporary. You will learn that you are allowed to be held, allowed to be restored, allowed to be loved in ways deeper than anything you have known before. I know you've questioned your worth. Pain has a way of whispering lies that sink slowly into the soul. Lies that say you're not enough, that you have failed too many times, that everyone else is ahead, that something is wrong with you. But I stand against every lie whispered over your heart. You are worthy because I made you. You are chosen because I called you. You are valuable because my fingerprints shaped every part of you. You are not behind. You are right on time. Every closed door taught you something that an open door could not. Every unanswered prayer strengthened a muscle in your spirit that nothing else could build. Every delay stretched your patience and deepened your faith. Every lonely night drew you closer to my presence. You may not have realized it, but you have been growing quietly, steadily, beautifully. Growth often feels like emptiness at first because it stretches the soul beyond what it knows, but it is proof of movement, not stagnation. I am proud of you for not giving up, even when you questioned me, even when you couldn't feel me, even when you thought you were walking alone. You kept going. You were never alone. I walked beside you, carrying what you could not see. I held back battles you didn't know were coming. I shielded you from storms that never touched your life. I defended you against words and intentions spoken in darkness. The pain you felt was real, but much of the pain you never met was because I stood in front of you and said, "Not this child." Now listen closely. The shift coming into your life will not feel like the chaos you endured. It will not feel wild or unpredictable. It will feel like alignment, like doors opening at the right time, like peace sliding into places where anxiety once lived. Your next breakthroughs will not require you to fight like before. They will come through obedience, through trust, through letting go instead of holding tight. You are stepping into a season where things begin to make sense, where clarity replaces confusion, where purpose rises from the ashes of what you thought was wasted. You thought you were stuck, but you were being rooted. You thought you were overlooked, but you were being prepared. You thought life passed you by, but I was building a foundation beneath you so strong that when I finally release the blessing, it will stand. It will hold. It will grow. You will not lose what I give you next. And yes, there will still be moments where fear tries to whisper again. Fear remembers what you lived through, but fear has no authority over what I am doing now. When anxiety shows up, return to my promise. When doubt begins to speak, remind your heart who writes your story. When discouragement tries to settle, come back to my presence. I do not build halfway. I do not abandon what I begin. I finish every story I write. You are being lifted. You are being restored. You are being transformed, not in one dramatic moment, but breath by breath, day by day, until suddenly you will look back and realize the heaviness is gone and hope feels familiar again. You will not live weary forever. Your heart will dance again. Your joy will return. You will smile and recognize yourself again. And when you tell your story, others will find courage in your testimony. So stay here a little longer. Let truth sink deeper than the hurt. Let peace untangle the memory of tension. Let hope rise like something you forgot belonged to you. You are seen. You are known. You are loved beyond anything you can measure. The God who formed the universe is gently rebuilding the pieces of your story, and nothing will stop what comes next. If you feel this in your spirit, whisper a quiet Amen. Share this with someone who needs to know they are not alone. And stay blessed. Stop right here. Don't scroll past this moment. God is speaking directly to your heart. You've come too far to miss what heaven wants to finish inside you. What you're reading is not random, not background noise, not just another voice in the crowd. This is a divine whisper sent into the rhythm of your day, because God knows precisely where you stand, between who you were and who you are becoming. My beloved child, I see the weight behind your quiet sighs. I see the exhaustion that lingers even after rest. I know how deeply you've longed not just for a breakthrough, but for relief, for clarity, for peace. You have carried so much for so long that you almost forgot what it feels like to be light again. But hear me. Heaviness is not your identity. Weariness is not your forever. You were not created to constantly fight uphill battles. You were created for fellowship with me, for peace that restores, for joy that renews, for purpose that flows, not drains. You have worried that your story has been too complicated, too messy, too uncertain for me to bless. But I want you to understand something deeply. I work with broken pieces. I work with imperfect stories. I work with lives that feel unfinished, unpolished, unseen. Nothing about you scares me away. Nothing disqualifies you. Nothing puts you outside the reach of grace. You belong here in my presence, exactly as you are right now. You have pushed through seasons where your heart felt numb, where joy seemed distant, where prayer felt like an effort instead of a lifeline. You have walked through days that demanded everything you had just to keep going, and still, you kept moving forward, even if it was slowly, even if it was shaky, even if it was only because you did not know what else to do. That perseverance has planted seeds in places that have not yet sprouted, but they will. Heaven always honors endurance that trusts even when it cannot see. You may have believed that nothing has changed, but heaven has been working beneath the surface. I have been rearranging, rebuilding, preparing and clearing paths that were impossible by your strength alone. The shift happening in your life isn't loud, because I am doing a deep work, a lasting work. A work that changes identity, not just circumstances. And deep work often feels like waiting, like silence, like stillness. But stillness is not stagnation when I am in it. When you cried quietly so others wouldn't worry, I counted every tear. When your heart broke and you hid the pieces so no one would see, I held what you could not hold alone. When you wondered why the weight never lifted, I was strengthening the shoulders that will carry the blessing that comes next. I never let pain have the final word. I never allow suffering to leave you empty-handed. Everything you endured is being turned into something sacred. Wisdom, empathy, compassion, authority, strength, and faith that cannot be shaken. This is why you cannot go back to who you used to be. The version of you that only survived is fading. The version of you that blooms is rising. You are stepping out of old patterns, old fears, old narratives that told you to expect disappointment. I am renewing your mind. I am reshaping your heart. I am teaching you how to live, not just endure. You will walk differently in this next season, not weighed down, but uplifted, not shrinking, but growing, not doubting, but believing. Yes, there will still be whispers of worry at times, but now you know where to run. Not inward, where fear multiplies, but upward, where peace is constant. When anxiety knocks, answer with truth. When doubt speaks, remind your heart of who stands with you. When old pain tries to claim space, declare that healing has begun and that healing belongs to you. You are not walking forward alone. I go before you, I walk beside you, and I come behind you to guard every step. You have entered a chapter where doors open on time, where connections align with purpose, where clarity comes without forcing answers. You will see favor where you saw resistance. You will see opportunity where you saw obstacles. You will see beauty in places that once felt barren. And you will know that it was my hand, not luck, not coincidence, but grace, that led you here. My child, your heart is not too broken for joy to return. Your soul is not too tired for strength to rise. Your future is not too far gone for hope to rebuild. What I plant grows. What I speak stands. What I promise arrives. You have crossed through the wilderness, and you are nearing the place where water flows freely again. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust my presence more than your understanding. You are safe with me. Take a slow breath. Let the tension fall away. You are not the same person who began this journey. What comes next is not a repeat of what came before. This is restoration. This is renewal. This is the reawakening of dreams you thought were lost. This is the beginning of blessing that has been forming quietly while you waited. You don't need to strive. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to fear that it will all fall apart again. Simply stay close. Listen often. Walk gently. Follow the nudges of peace. I will guide every step and open every door that belongs to your story. You are walking into goodness, not guessing your way forward. You are stepping into light, not stumbling in confusion. So lift your eyes, lift your heart, and lift your expectations. You are not arriving late. You are arriving right on time. The God who has carried you through the valley is the same God who will lead you onto higher ground, and I will not leave you midway. I will finish what I began. If your spirit feels this truth settling inside you, type Amen in faith. Share this message to bless someone else, and